everyone, welcome to Kidsstoppress.com. Today we have with us the lovely Suman Agarwal, the founder of selfcareindia.com. Suman has been practicing nutrition and fitness for the last 15 years, is an author and a mom of 3 enterprising girls. Welcome, Suman.
Thank you, Mansi.
Suman, you've just been an author while you've been in the nutrition and fitness space for a really long time. So Suman, what prompted Super Kids?
So, in my profession, which I've been practicing since the last 15 years, I realized that kids were a big part of my consultation, and since I'm also a mom, and I realized that just telling them to eat this and not to eat this wasn't working. I just give them a healthy choices and good recipes, and so I wanted to spread out the knowledge about good nutrition and what food to choose and everything which goes in the mind of a mom.
Right.
In a constructive way, and so that people who don't come to me can also benefit from a book.
Can you tell us key recipes that address that query that people have?
So what I understood that till lunch they eat boring roti dal sabji, everyone was fine. But then if dinner comes and then you serve the same thing, so kids and the fathers and the mothers, nobody was happy. So the whole thing began with creating very interesting menu, and at the same time making sure the health is also included. Suppose if I'm giving pasta, and especially for vegetarians, what do you add pasta with? Vegetables. Now, vegetable and pasta in itself is not very healthy because there's no nutrition in it. But if an Italian would eat, they would maybe add meat or chicken. So how to make pasta interesting for a vegetarian? So we added beans into it, like kidney beans. So these are the kind of innovations we did to balance every cuisine and every street food, and that's what actually prompted me to write the book.
Suman, we often get a lot of questions, especially on social, is about, I'm not running my own household or my kitchen, and we all have external help given that we're all working parents today. How can I still manage to squeeze in the nutrition and the health into my family's diet?
I think the best way to do that is maybe make a cyclical menu of a week or a 2 week and paste it with the refrigerator. And let the servants follow that.
Also, food groups that we must include in a child's diet.
So one of the food group which is very important, as I mentioned, is the milk. So the breakfast should be with some milk protein. If they are lactose intolerant, then maybe a glass of lassi or a buttermilk, salted buttermilk, or milk, along with some carbs. So the kid should not leave home without eating something. Then the mid-morning snacks can be very small, fruits and nuts or something. And the lunch should be having some element of protein or paneer. So vegetarian can have, I remember when I cooked for many years for my kids, the tiffin I used to pack every morning. So I used to give them all interesting wraps, and all the kids of their class, they used to come and grab there, and they used to carry 4 extra rolls for everyone. So I used to make chole wraps, chole and palak wraps, moong wraps, rajma wraps. Instead of putting only vegetable in the wraps, I used to put the options of proteins, and so that they maintain the energy and immunity, hair, skin, growth, everything. So that could be the lunch menu, and nowadays schools are very actually conscious, and they are providing nutritious meals in the school. If that is the case, then they don't need to carry it from home.
Right.
So when the kids come back home, instead of giving them instant noodles, because that's what they crave for, because they're so hungry at that time. So that is the time again you should give them some milk protein, like a paneer toasty or baked beans and toast, milk and flakes, or milk and sandwich. And then the dinner should be again with some kind of a protein option, or just paneer and roti and vegetables.
So, in your book, you mentioned about foods that all parents must avoid for kids. Do you want to tell us which ones are the worst of the lot?
So I would put number 1 as aerated drinks, number 2 is caffeine, third is maybe instant noodles, then artificial sweetness, microwave popcorns are on top of my list. So if you take white aerated drinks, because they have presence of caffeine and they're high in sugar, so that should be absolutely banned. Then second is caffeine. Giving them tea, coffee, cold coffee, like many kids demand they want to have cold coffee. So that should be given just maybe once a week, but not on a regular basis, because the caffeine leaches out the calcium, so that becomes problematic for a growing child. How will it reach the optimum height what they are supposed to? So that should be banned totally. Then we have instant noodles, because the instant noodles are fried in palm oil. Then they are that's how they are dehydrated. So it's extremely harmful. So Hakka noodles are still better.
Right.
So you understand that. Then the microwave popcorn. So instead of using those packets which
Yeah.
for microwave, I would prefer that the parents make the popcorn in the the cooker.
The tawa.
Yeah.
The cooker.
Cooker. Yeah, that's a better way because they have harmful ingredients in the microwave.
Sure. Suman, you also spoke about, when you speak about things that should be banned on the ban list, can you tell us things that a mom or a parent should definitely see on back of packs and strike those things off the list?
Yeah, so I've seen that kids have a liking to eat the chocolate bars which are from abroad, from America and other countries. But they have to be very vigilant which chocolates they are picking up for their kids. They should make sure that high fructose corn syrup is not in the at the back of the packet because that is actually harmful for the child.
Also, Suman, kids today like a lot of preserves, right? So it could be your ketchups and your jams and a lot of chocolate spreads and all that. How good or bad are they?
I mean, we all know they are bad, but how do you tell a kid not to have?
Right.
So you just have to balance, to how much no and how much yes you have to say.
Sure.
So my advice to the parents is that don't say so much no's to the kid, but always give them
healthy choices.
That's a better way to do instead of saying no all the time.
Right.
And making them aware, okay, this thing has this problem. And the kids are very perceptive. They want to know about health. This health is not only among adults, it's also among kids.
Yeah.
So if you tell them, okay, listen, if you have this and this problem happens, they won't touch it.
Right, absolutely. How do you develop a kid's palate right from start so you never have the adversity of a picky eater?
Oh yeah, that's a question we hear a lot. Like I've seen kids coming, okay, I don't eat this, I only eat this, and sometimes they don't touch any vegetables. So how do you sort of introduce them? So what I did for my kids, and which I tell every parent to do, is definitely serve everything in their plate.
Yeah.
It's okay if it goes waste, and we tell them at least just take one bite, and then they develop the palate. So that's what is very important, to make sure that the food which is made at home is served to your kids, and they at least just tell them to taste it, and that will make them at least start loving them later.
Right.
And kids generally have after the age of 15, 16, they tend to choose more food. So the picky thing comes.
So all those parents who are actually complaining of picky eaters, fingers crossed, you still have hope after 15, 16, right? They're not gonna reject it. So also there is a lot of emphasis today on child obesity. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you address? Because at that when you're older, you're mentally more aware, more balanced. But when you're a child and you're going through that phase, there's a lot of self-esteem and self-worth that gets affected. So how do you deal with clients like that?
So the obesity really pulls a kid down. Their whole morale comes down, and they feel little low in front of the friends who are really healthy and smart. And so though their obese kid may be smart, but they always feel that they are lacking. And so going out for outdoor plays and going for swimming, they all want to take a step backward. Now the obesity may not be always because of the wrong eating habits. That's definitely a part of the problem, but could also be genetic.
Right.
So this is what I discovered. So I tell an obese kid, you are obese and it may not be your fault.
Yeah.
So let me find the reason behind your obesity. It could be metabolic syndrome, it could be insulin resistance. So it's very important for a parent to understand and go to a nutritionist, find the root cause of the obesity along with counseling and medical help at the same time. And then we have to win this battle.
Of course.
It's not an easy battle.
Great. Suman, thank you so much. It's been indeed a wonderful and very, very informative chat. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.